Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition of the Sunday Bunch. And London Boy has managed to join us. When we set the intro away, he wasn't there, and he's here now. So it's a bit fine, but that's Jacob Allhour. Right, with myself, Philly tonight, we have Jack Dodds. Jack, have you had a good day today?
Fairly uneventful day, to be honest.
Oh, that's exciting for everybody to know. Then
someone's got to take Dino's space.
All right, okay. Terry, we're with the Mad Mistake as well. Have you had a good day, Terry?
Absolutely lovely, chill day. Fantastic day. Everything's been chill about today, and then we come into the stream tonight.
And Jacob down south, how's your day been?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Went for some food, pretty chilled. Watched a bit of Harry Potter, celebrating the 20th anniversary.
Behave yourself. Get off.
Not wrong with Harry Potter, Phil.
Oh, hang on. You as well can go as well. There you go then.
Phil could take Lord Voldemort's part, couldn't he?
Right.
Yeah, Lord Voldemort's grandhouse, me lad.
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I have not got a clue. All right. All I know is something that we're muggles or something like that, whatever that means. Right, listen, we are on live, which means you can join us via the live chat. Loads of people on there already. We've already got 93 people there on the stream before we've even started. There's lots going on. Lots of debate over Lee Johnson and the debacle yesterday. It was quite a mess, really. We'll give a shout out to the people already in there. Taffy Mackham there, Warnock sacked, Smith sacked, the bloke from the Chippy. You could get him in. He's been sacked. CONRAD Lee on there, Daniel Farker sacked by Norwich. Everybody chucking these names in before we even start. Tony Lee on there, should be tasty show tonight. Let's hear how the Johnson in people defend this latest debacle. Callum Mackay on there as well, man of the world. Jeff Allcroft, Spannerman. Sunderland 0, Mansfield Town 1. Let's start with what happened yesterday in the first round of the Cup. Terry, do you want to... well, let's start by saying, did Lee Johnson pick the right team?
Not in my eyes, no. I mean, if the league's not going very well and the players have down tools for whatever reason, why do you want to risk all your players in the FA Cup? All your first teamers, you want some of the people who are on the bench, some of the side, some of the under 23s to come through, so to shine, some of the youngsters to shine. So you give them an opportunity against Mansfield. Same as you do with the Papa John's Trophy. For me, the FA Cup's no different than the Papa John's Trophy. The Carabao Cup's a little bit better because you're getting all the way through to the quarterfinals. But the FA Cup in these rounds, the same as the Papa John's Trophy, you give the youngsters an opportunity to prove what they can do on the pitch. Because yesterday, they're completely, again, down-tooled and nobody wanted to play. It was just ridiculous. So, for me, it was the wrong team. Totally the wrong team.
Right, okay. I'll try and keep going to the chat because a lot of people want to be involved in there. Names been thrown in already. I mean, the guy's still in the job, but Dean Smith there. Taffy Mackham says Conrad Farker with a few quid to spend would be interesting. Keen Deitch says man of the world. And Thane is there, evening all. Man of the world also says KLD ambition. Keen Deitch. Money signs, apparently. So over to you, Jacob, yesterday. Did Lee Johnson pick the right team?
No, not in my eyes, to be honest. Like what Terry said, some youngsters should have been given the opportunity to impress. The likes of, I think, Harris was on the bench yesterday, didn't even come on as part of the 5 subs, which I thought was disgraceful. He's been banging them in for the under 23s recently. But yeah, it's just from the manager's point of view right now, it's not looking good. His decision making with what he starts, the subs he makes during the game, the timings of the subs, who he actually brings on for the subs, and how he sets out his teams as well. I mean, it just looked like yesterday we had no plan at all for approaching that game. It felt like we just sent the players out just to get their fitness up before some go away on international duty. That's what it felt like watching the highlights back of that game. Yeah, not great at the moment.
Right, fair enough. Casual observer says Dean Smith, Frank Lampard, John Terry, Daniel Farker, Keno, Super Kev, Pearson. The list is long, but it's all about ambition. He'd even take Warnock over our current waffling, bluffing balloon. don't know if Warnock wants a job. I mean, to be honest, but
he's nearly as old as you, isn't he?
It's just ridiculous. I mean, we're discussing this like as though Lee Johnson's, as though we need a manager. Jack, you was there yesterday. You saw it. Did he pick the right team?
No, and I thought that straight away. I think yesterday was a perfect opportunity to mix it up. I think something I've reflected on over the last few games is that there's a lot of tired players, both physically and mentally. I think Callum Doyle, in particular, you can see it's a mental exhaustion above anything else. He's went from playing against, kids to men twice a week. And I mean, that's just the first thing that comes into my head. I think Dan Neal's another one, Dennis Sirkin, these young lads who are in the first experience of senior team football week in, week out. And it would have been a perfect opportunity to just completely give them the day off and bring others in, players coming back from injury, players haven't been given much of a chance recently, and a few of the under-23s who were shining. I thought it was a complete joke how Ollie Younger didn't get in, yet Flanagan did. Flanagan, a player who's been making a lot of mistakes recently after a great start to the season. I think that's exhaustion coming in. Again, you had a great opportunity to bring Ollie Younger in, who always does a half-decent job as a defender. I think that's just the main example I can think of. But no, I thought it was absolutely baffling. Even the substitutions as well. I mean, there's Frederick Alves getting his one of his only starts so far this season. We need other options at centre back or in defence at the very least. We're making a lot of mistakes recently. I thought he was actually okay in the first half. He did all right. Ends up bringing him off at half time for Callum Doyle, a player who needs rest. That's bringing a lad off who needs minutes to bring a lad on who could probably do without the minutes. It didn't make any sense to me. I thought it was a terrible team selection yesterday, to be honest.
Right. Just very quickly, Thane says Warnock would be a sensible appointment. Nobody has more promotions than him. Man of the world. Appoint an average manager again, and in 18 months' time will be no further forward. Groundhog Day. Yesterday with the team, though, I mean, I said on Thursday I didn't think he would play the kids. I thought he would play a strong team, and I understand his reasoning around doing that. Confidence was low, and I think he thought we'll go out there and we'll batter Mansfield and get them back on a high, and it's just not happened. It's just backfired on him. I agree with you also, Jack. I thought Alves was pretty good first half. I didn't think he was that bad at all. We will come on to Lee Johnson. We'll move on to that in a sec, but I want to go through this. This is only on social media where I've read this today, so that could mean anything, as Jack pointed out before we came on air. Apparently there was a bust-up with players at half-time. Now, for me, I hope there has been a bust-up with players because it'll show that there's, that there's a bit of passion still there. Thoughts on that? It's all speculation, Terry.
No idea, no clue. What was the bust-up about? Who was it? Do anybody know anything apart from bust-up with the players? Was it the manager getting into the players? Because the manager said he thought their first half performance was absolutely garbage. That was basically what came out of his mouth. But did he do anything about it? Well, standing with his hands in his pockets for the first full half, no shouting, no screaming, no bawling at the players, getting them motivated. What does he do? What does he actually do?
Well, what does he do? Well, he brings 4 players on at half-time. Is that not doing something about it?
Well, it must have, but didn't do any work. Any help, did it? Didn't do anything better. So what he said at half-time made no difference whatsoever.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, sorry, Jack, I'll let you in a sec. But sorry, the thing is like we play Sheffield Wednesday, right? And you complain that, we're getting beat first half and we don't make any substitutions till the 65th minute, right? And it goes out yesterday. We're getting beat at half-time. He obviously wanted to change it. Substitutions come on. And now, he made 4 substitutions. Well,
it just proves that none of the players want to play for him. It just proves the whole first team squad are not interested in what he says or what he does because none of them came out and performed. So for me, you need some hungry. Probably I would have brought on Harris. I say, but for Harris, it's going to be kept for Tuesday. Harris to be kept for Tuesday. I would have brought on some other youngsters, but has he lost the dressing room for me? Because I can't see what the players want to do. And the players, I don't believe in the players wouldn't underperform in front of the crowd on purpose. I just think slowly they've lost what they want to do for Lee Johnson. Slowly they've lost the will to play for Lee Johnson. I just don't think anything at all. I can't see anything at all coming out of the players that they want to actually perform for this manager.
All right, Jack, you want in there?
Yeah, say I don't know if it's that the players don't want to perform or if that we're just a bit exhausted. Like we just seem to be making a lot of really stupid, silly mistakes that I've put down to probably the lads playing too many minutes. Callum Doyle is one in particular for me. I know he didn't really do it yesterday, but I'm just using him as an example, mainly against the likes of Rotherham's and Portsmouth and Sheffield Wednesdays and stuff like that. It's Winchester, Cirkin are all kind of players who, even Dan Naylor, I think, have just been making a lot of stupid mistakes. Luke O'Nien, another one. And I don't know if it comes down to them not wanting to play for Lee Johnson or if they're just a bit knackered and maybe teams are figuring it out and they haven't got the mental forefront to change it up. It's this constant playing out the back thing for me as well. It's like, don't get us wrong, I'm an advocate for playing out from the back if you can do it. But when it gets to a point when Mansfield yesterday clearly had worked out how to press us in a way that made sure we couldn't play off the back, and we're still trying to pass it out after we'd even conceded a goal from trying to do so. Surely the wires have got to connect in your head, the red light flashes, and you stop knocking it between yourselves at the back and you start just doing something a bit different.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I think that passing from the back, I don't know when this all started. This just started when Hoffman came in, just started when Doyle came in. But I think, like I said, it's okay at the start when people don't understand what you're doing, but all of a sudden they're cotton on, they're putting you under pressure, and we're just constantly putting the goalkeepers, even Burge didn't do this last season. The goalkeepers now must have been told to pass it to your centre-back, even if the pressure's on from a defender. It's crazy. It's criminal. It's football suicide.
You need a balance.
Just very quickly, let me I want to keep going the chat because loads of people want to be involved. Everybody's chucking names about for managers when we've still got a manager, so I still don't get it. But Warnock till the end of the season. John Terry was superb at Villa. Casual Observer says a few people saying Big Sam Allardyce. That point of, I'll come to you next, Jacob. That point of playing out from the back. There was a very, very valid point made when we did the fan cam interviews, which, if you haven't seen yet, are on the channel. Check them out. We interviewed a Mansfield Town fan, and he said what they did, they pressurised us right from the off, and he said, and that's something they never do. So obviously, Nigel Clough has done his homework. He's had a look at it, right? And so many people have said we've been found out with this playing out from the back, and we're not good enough to do it. And anybody who does their homework, as per Nigel Clough yesterday, this Mansfield Town fan said they don't normally do that, and that's what they did. And there you go. I mean, they got their goal from that silly mistake from Burge. Let me go to Jacob first, Terry, because he's been off for a while. Playing out from the back, are you a fan of it, Jacob?
I mean, like Jack said, I'm all for it. It's my type of football, but at the same time, you have to have the right players to do it. I mean, we discussed this on Thursday. I mean, Mansfield yesterday, they got their game plan spot on in terms of putting a high press on our back line from the early stages, and they got a goal for their rewards. And more or less, it was just easy for them. They sat back for the rest of the game because we didn't have the quality to break them down. We just looked exhausted. And to be honest, come the 20th of November when Ipswich Town come to the Stadium of Light, I can imagine them doing the absolute same. To be honest, if the same structure is in place and we're constantly, even in the early minutes of the game, making these risky passes across our back line, also even back to the goalkeeper as well, not hoofing it long to Ross Stewart, and the opposition can suss out the weaknesses. And yeah, we can't seem to deal with the pressure well. And yeah, right now, I'd say questions need to be asked and things really do need to change quickly because we're in big, big trouble.
Right, fair enough. I'll come to you, Terry, because you want to jump in there. 217 people on the live stream. Just hit the thumbs up. I'll tell you what we'll do, because I like what Terry did yesterday. Just a little poll with the thumbs up and the thumbs down on the Lee Johnson thing. If you think Lee Johnson should keep his job and stay in, and you're happy with that, then just hit the thumbs up for us. Just do that. If you're not a fan and you think he should go, then hit the thumbs down, and we can do it like that, and we'll see what the difference is come the end. So if you think it's time for Lee Johnson to go, just hit the thumbs down. It's already going up there a lot. And if you think he should stay, then hit the thumbs up, and we'll do a little poll like that as well. Terry, you was one in there. Sorry.
Right, come on, it doesn't take a rocket science to watch a couple of games and see where our faults are. I mean, surely if they're going to press that high up, they're going to leave gaps further up the field. We've got to exploit this. There's no movement. There was no movement from our players yesterday. Nobody was willing to make a run. Nobody was willing to move in midfield. It was awful to watch. It was awful. Even Gary Bennett was going absolutely crazy on the radio. He was just like saying there's absolutely no movement.
Did you watch it on the radio?
Movement. I watched bits of it on the radio, yes.
Right, okay then. I mean, is it not a good thing though that we're out of the cup now?
No.
Jack?
No, don't get us wrong. I'm not actually that disappointed at the fact that we lost the game or out of the cup. But you kind of sit here and say that it's a good thing. And Leigh Johnson saying that in his interview is cringeworthy of saying, in the long run, it might be a good thing. It's a terrible mindset to have. At the very least, if you're going to struggle with the amount of games, just play the under-23s. Therefore, it won't affect the first team's fitness levels and commitment levels to the league at all. I don't like this mindset of, it's good that we're out the cup. What I'm actually disappointed at the most is the performance. That I think that the second half maybe we were slightly better, but that first half in particular is, I think, even bearing in mind the likes of Rotherham and Sheffield Wednesday, etc., Portsmouth, etc., I think that has got to be the worst 45 minutes I've watched us play, because it was just so slow and flat and lethargic. A player would have the ball and no one's coming short or ask for it. No one's making a run in behind. No one's trying to create space. It's just like, it's as if we've just run out of ideas. And that's when those stupid mistakes came in of like passing the ball straight to their players or not marking someone. It was pathetic.
Sorry, you first.
With all the mistakes being made at the back, they've just lost complete faith in what they're trying to do. They have, because they know there's no plan B, so they don't know what to do. They're completely clueless. There's no leader. We got a ship, and there's no leader at the ship this moment in time. There's no one who can. He can't come in. There's no characters on the pitch either. We have no captain. Simple as. There's nobody out there who can captain the side. And the coach, Leigh Johnson, isn't a natural born leader. He's not. He should be a politician. He talks shite, simple as, but he's not a natural born leader. He's not. He just stands on the touchline, and the players have now found out what he's about. That's what it is. They're just down tools. They don't know what to do. There's no plan B, which is abysmal.
Right, just very quickly before I come to you, Jacob, on the chat there, Stephen Winship says, Wilder to Borough, our loss apparently. And currently on our little thumbs up, thumbs down poll, it's restored a little faith in humanity for me. 53 saying in, 32 saying out. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I bet that's not entirely reflective of what people think, mate. But
it's not, because I had people on my channel who said, I'll give you the thumbs up because I won't ever dislike your videos, but I'm Leigh Johnson out. So when they give us a thumbs up, they come and leave a comment. I've got about 300 comments, and not one person, mind. I don't know any comment at all on there that wanted Leigh Johnson to stay. But a lot of them give us a thumbs up because they like the video, and they said they won't give us a thumbs down because of the simple fact they enjoy what I'm doing.
Right, well, let me clear that up for anyone worried about giving a thumbs down. All right, how the thumbs up and the thumbs down work. All right, it doesn't matter if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Even if we get lots of thumbs down, it's not a negative thing on our channel. It doesn't work like that. So don't worry about that if you're a fan of the channel and worried about giving it a thumbs down. Now, we'll see how this little poll goes. Jacob, sorry, you was one in there.
The worrying thing about that listening to the game on the radio, it felt like we'd lost it 5 minutes in. There was just a lack of belief.
6 minutes in.
6 minutes in, yeah, vice versa. Felt just like we weren't going to score, like, at all from that moment, and that's worrying. That is really, considering where were they before? Was it 20th in League Two? Like close to the relegation zone?
Yeah, so something like that.
Yeah.
First away victory of the season for Mansfield.
Really? I mean,
yes.
That just sums it up. That just completely sums it up. We're breaking these awful, ridiculous stats once again. We're a team that normally likes to do it.
But sorry, Jacob, it's a cup game, and they come to the Stadium of Light, and no disrespect to Mansfield. It's a small club, and they come here and they up the game. It's a cup final for them. We could go to a final of the cup at Wembley and play Man City, and beat them. Here we go.
It's okay, Phil. You can stick up for Lee Johnson as much as you want. Defend all these different reasons why teams are beating Sunderland. There's only one reason, simple as.
Which is?
Lee Johnson.
All right. Jack, you was one in there as well?
Yeah, well, as much as I can kind of see your point, there's players in our team yesterday that should have been fighting tooth and nail because of how poor the performances have been recently, how many spots in the starting 11 are now up for grabs to make sure that we're playing well. So I don't agree with this notion of that it was a bigger game for Mansfield than it was for us. You know, you get someone like Bailey Wright coming in yesterday with how, you know, Doyle's been making mistakes and Flanagan's been making mistakes recently. He should be coming into that side thinking, if I can, you know, play a 9 out of 10 game here, my spot's nailed for that Gillingham game, for the Ipswich game, sorry. And that's the same, you know, for everyone. So I don't buy this notion. Yesterday was an opportunity for us to turn it around, to get a bit of confidence going and to at least, you know, take a deep breath and go, right, well, maybe things aren't all bad. So I don't agree with that notion, Phil.
Right, okay. I'll come to you just now, Jacob, just quickly on the chat. James SAFC Ramsey says, up by Easter way, the lads, stop embarrassing me. Thane, LJ will play the kids on Tuesday, says down there. Marion Trowell says, hello, Terry, have you calmed down? It looks like he has. Jacob, you was one in there.
I think let's not kid ourselves. Obviously, right now we're debating about the manager going forward, and a lot of people are saying that he's not the right man to take us to that next level and potentially get us out of this division. But also we have to look at the players as well. I mean, I would say some of the players' attitudes right now, I just don't think that they understand the magnitude of playing for a club our size. I really don't, especially some of the ones who haven't been here for too long either. I think it hasn't kicked into them like the importance of putting that red and white top on. But then again, that's also, you need that motivation from the manager as well. And to be honest, I don't think Lee Johnson understands it as much as well. I think he just sees it as just any other job that he'd have in football. I think when he first came here also, I just think he never quite understood the passion of our fan base. I still believe that now, even when you hear him in interviews. But whether he's, I mean, I'm still on the fence with the manager. I'm still undecided. But yeah, I think right now there is a problem. We've hit a really bad run of form, and yeah, some of the, particularly yesterday.
4 games. But it's 4 games, Jacob. It's 4 games.
Nah, but it's the way how we're getting beaten, how we got beaten those games, Philly.
Well, I don't buy that, the way we get. I mean, people are saying that because I said on the fan cams yesterday, I said, you know, we've had a good start. I said, and up until 3 weeks ago, we were brilliant 3 weeks ago. You know, yes, maybe not brilliant, but at least we were winning. You know, it doesn't matter how we win. Just very quickly on the chat here again, Mickey Stewart says, give Terry the job. Only Mills says, give Terry the job till the end of the season. See, people are starting to be really silly now. Look, on the little poll, the thumbs up, thumbs down at the moment, 56-42 in favour of Lee Johnson. We've got 241 on the stream. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. It'll take you a second to hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. So if you'd like to subscribe, that will help us out as well. Well, let's get on to Lee Johnson then, because that's the elephant in the room, and it. Like I said, at the moment, our little poll is slightly in favour. Jacob's sitting on the fence. I want to start by saying that it's been all over social media about, oh, now he's blaming the fans. Here we go. That's it. It's the end of the road once you start blaming the fans. So I'm asking the question to all of you. Did he really blame the fans yesterday, Terry?
He's trying to take some of the pressure off the players by blaming the forums on social media. He's blaming the forums, but there is some really toxic forums out there, that, I know all about it. I mean, I don't like to go on them myself. I don't get involved with them, but there's some nasty toxic forums on there. But the players need to be big enough. The players shouldn't be going through social media looking into these forums about the performances. They've got to be, they are professional artists, are supposed to be. Professional artists in their own game, and they should be just looking after themselves. What?
Yes, the problem is the age of the players. It's like I've always said. I mean, I've had it for I'm quite old, so I've had it for a lot of years and stuff like that.
But
you've got to realize that it's great on social media when you read all the good things about you and people tell you how brilliant you are and stuff like that. And I've always said, if you're going to read that sort of stuff, then you've got to be prepared to read the negative stuff as well. Now, like you say, yourself, Terry, you said it's toxic on there. So what you tend to do is you don't look at it. And that tends to be a more mature way of handling that. These kids are young kids and they can't help but want to read something. Oh, that's good what they say about us. But then they come across a load of negative stuff as well.
But this is down to where this is the way education comes in, where the manager comes in, where the structural staff come in. They've got to, a lot of these players will know about obviously social media. They'll know all about what goes on, but they've got to be able to stand back and say, I'm not, as a football player now, playing for the team. I know it's like for Dan Neil, play for the team he's always supported all of his life. He won't be getting much. I don't think he'll get much stick on social media. I think the Sunderland fans will stay with Dan Neil a lot longer than other players who don't perform well. I think Dan Neil's trying. I just think he looks a bit lost at this moment in time. He needs a bit of guidance. He's young, He needs to either play with the youngsters again on Tuesday night and make him captain, or in the first team, he's got to have his confidence back, but keep on playing a system that doesn't work, that you don't believe in. I believe these players now don't believe in what's going on the pitch, that don't believe in this play up the back is actually the good thing to do. That's why, for me, they've got no confidence at all. No confidence at all. And Lee Johnson's come in and he's tried all sorts of different ways of explaining it throughout the weeks of losing games, and now he's basically coming out and saying the players, sort of getting harassed on forums and social media. Some people are coming out and he's trying to shift the blame a little bit away from the players onto these toxic forums. And for me, that's a slippery slope, because what do you do next? If we go and get hammered by Ipswich, what do you do next when the fans at home are booing them? Let's just say be beggars belief. If we do go against Ipswich, and I hope Lee Johnson can turn it around, I'll give him till Ipswich to see what happens after this Ipswich match, and I'm going to stand by my laurels. He's in charge. I'm going to give him to the Ipswich match. Got 2.5 weeks to show us what he's made of, to get the confidence in the lads, to turn it around, do something different on the pitch. Can he do it? I don't know. We'll know at the Ipswich match. Now, if the Ipswich match comes along and we get beat again, what's he going to say then? He's on the slippery slope down. Who's he going to blame next?
Right. I'll come to you next, Jack, because I know you're wanting in there. I'd like to think that the club, certainly in this day and age, have got something in place which educate these footballers on social media. Like, I know a lot, they coach them in media skills, so that when they're being interviewed on the telly and stuff like that. And I'd like to think that they have somebody actually in charge who can, speak to them about going on social media. Jack, I know you went in there, but did he actually blame the fans yesterday? Because that's what a lot of people are interpreting.
As much as I can say why people are interpreting it, I really don't see it as Johnson taking a dig at the fans at all. In fact, I think all he was saying is that as a footballer in the modern day and age, it's harder to manage confidence levels than it was years ago. That's all he was pointing out, I think, really. If you're a player, you're on social media, and let's be fair, look at the average age of most of our players. You've got Sirkin and Dan Neil, 19-year-old. You've got Ellis Taylor, who's 18. You've got even the players who are slightly more experienced, probably all have Twitter and Facebook and these types of things and know the way around the fan forum, things like that. I think all Lee Johnson's saying is that when these players have access to these things, because let's be fair, like if you're Dan Neil, you're going to be going on Instagram, aren't you? He's a Sunderland fan. He's probably going to be having a look at Sunderland page and stuff like that. And you're seeing the whole thing of Zidane Neil being thrown about as a nickname and similar things like that. It's going to boost your confidence. You're going to feel better about yourself. But then equally, after a poor performance, a poor game, you're still going to go on your phone. You're still going to go and have a look what your mates are doing on Instagram. And you're going to bump into these things where you might, you might have family members and friends send you links to articles on fan forums slating you, and that's going to knock your confidence. I don't think Johnson is saying it's the fans' fault we're losing. I think what he's saying is it's harder to manage confidence levels in this day and age because of the way that it's easier for fans to get at players and affect their confidence. I think that's all he was saying. And I think people taking it as Johnson, blaming the fans for results, I think that's in my opinion, at the very least, a slight misinterpretation and taking it a bit too far.
Right. totally agree with you, Jack, but I think it probably falls on, say, if you're a Johnson in or a Johnson out. If you're a Johnson out, I think you're saying, that's it, he's blaming the fans now. It's the end of the road. Quickly on our thumbs up, thumbs down, 66 in, 47 out. Go on, Jack, quickly.
No, that's right. Go on.
All right, okay. Just again, I'm way behind. There's loads of comments on the chat, so trying to keep up with everybody's quite difficult here. Taffy Mackham saying, Philly, how long would you give him, mate? We haven't gone to the in and outs yet to see where we stand. Jacob, did he blame the fans yesterday in his interview?
I don't think what Jack was saying, I don't think he was directing it exactly towards it. I think he was just highlighting the problems, like the mental problems that the players that are going through right now, lacking in confidence when potentially they do see negativity on social media. But that is something the club need to address quickly, potentially, I don't know, looking at getting, was it not maybe like a psychiatrist in or something like that to help the players cope with their mental struggles, someone to speak to if the chips are down. But also, you do need more from the manager in terms of his man-to-man skills to help players get through rough patches, and also a manager with tactical nous to change things up if things are going badly. And right now, it doesn't look like there has been much change in that department. And yeah, it is worrying. But yeah, right now, the players, not only do they lack in, it's just the drive was not there. For the last, on Tuesday at Sheffield, it was poor. Yesterday, it sounded even worse listening to the game. So, yeah, I don't know what it is at the moment, man. I think he was just using that interview yesterday to highlight a lot of frustrations, but it was a bit of a risk with the stuff he was coming out with, and I can understand why some of the fans have taken it the wrong way.
Right, Terry, I'll come to you. I know you want to now quickly go to the chat here. Tony Lee says, as I said, when LJ got this job, way out of his depth. We are doing a little poll on the thumbs up, thumbs down at the moment. If you think Lee Johnson should be in and keep his job, then give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down if you're against it and you think he's had his time and he should go. Don't worry about hitting the thumbs down. Even if you like the videos, it doesn't affect our channel at all. Terry, you was one in there.
Yeah, somebody called Karen Monk made a really good point there on the live chat. She basically said that the teams getting booed off at half time surely will knock the confidence more than a few, Instagram posts or whatever it is. But personally, I would never boo a team off. Simple as. I don't believe in booing a team. I boo a referee if he has an awful game, but I wouldn't boo a team off. But used two were there. What was it like at halftime? Was the majority of the crowd booing at halftime?
Well, there was boos at halftime. I'll bring you in a sec, Jack. I don't agree with what Karen Monk says, whoever she is, because booing off at halftime. You've seen what Twitter trolls and people on social media like, and it's ruthless, and that can affect you, I think, a lot more than being booed off on a football pitch. Jack, you was one in.
Yeah, as much as I say Karen's point, I also think that if you get booed off at half time, you then got the opportunity to go at the dressing room, have a team talk, come back out and do something different about it. Whereas if it's online, it's on your phone, you might go home after a game on a Saturday night. You aren't playing till Tuesday. Therefore, that negativity from the fans follows you. So I think it's a bit different to get booed off at half time to receiving abuse or having nasty articles written about you online, because while one is in person, it's there, it's in the moment, another one can almost feel like it's following you about with the rest of your life. And when you're trying to get yourself in training on Monday to, improve your game to make sure you can
that's directed at me, obviously, from my wife, yes. By the way, and not at you.
Of course. When you're in training trying to sort yourself out and the week's getting going again, and then that can then knock your confidence again, looking at your phone and things like that. So I think it's quite different. It's less personal, I think, getting booed at as well, because it could be at the team in general, whereas when you're seeing your own name written on Twitter that it's directed towards you. So I think there is a bit of a difference there.
Surely when, we as SAFC Fan TV, we have somebody who looks after Instagram for us. surely these players, with the wages they're on, they will have people looking after these accounts for them. And they could easily just ban these people, report these people, and get rid of the posts. Simple as. And then the player won't even have to see this sort of shite. But at the end of the day, booing off at half-time is an individual thing. I wouldn't do it, but I completely understand why fans do it. And they pay the money. It's their right to do what they want. If they want to boo a team off because they haven't given anything on the first half, I know it's up to them. We all have personal preferences, that's all.
Can I just say, Bradley Young, who Bradley does the fan cams as well, done a great job for us yesterday as well, says tons of people were booing in the East Stand at half time. I should hope so, Bradley, because they were only in the East Stand. So that's, but thanks for that anyway.
West Stand as well, there was some in hospitality.
All right, okay. Right. Just very quickly then, before I move on the next point. Andy Cartwright got in touch with me on Instagram today, said he was down at QPR with his dad, and they were staying in the hotel where the players stayed, and they were chatting to them before the game, and everybody was buzzing and stuff like that. But when they came back to the hotel afterwards, they thought they would wait for them coming back and was expecting them all to be on a high. Lee Johnson didn't want to know, and the players weren't very happy. And they're just wondering if something's actually happened after the QPR game again. Once again, it's been sent to me. I've just put it out there.
You just lobbed it out right now.
No, yeah. No substance or anything in it. But it's been sent to me, and this from somebody who was there, and that's what they picked up on. Just very quickly then, 73 for Lee Johnson, 55 against at the moment. Let me pass it round you then. Terry, are you still Johnson in or Johnson out?
I've already told you once. Listen to what I say.
Well, I don't think we was on air, was we?
Yeah, I said after the Ipswich match. He's got these 2.5 weeks to turn it around.
So you're a big fan of Johnson then at the moment?
Well, I want him to succeed. I've already said before, my heart wants every Sunderland player to succeed and every manager to succeed. But I have this gut feeling, and I've had it for a long time now, that he's not good enough, and a lot of the players are not good enough, simple as. But, I want to get behind the team, and I don't want to be negative all the time, so I'm trying to get behind them. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to stay positive for weeks and months as much as possible, but now it's that bad. It gets to the Ipswich game. If it comes out and we see a different performance altogether, then yes, I believe he can turn it around. If it comes out it's the same dross, then what has he done in the 2.5 weeks?
Right, okay then.
Or 2 weeks, sorry.
I mean, at the end of the day, every single, the majority of people watching this and all us together, all Sunderland fans, we all want the same thing. We all want a successful team. There's people falling out over, you should give him more time, or we want him out and stuff like this. At the end of the day, if it doesn't matter who's in charge, if we're winning and we're successful, we all want the same thing. Jack, are you a Johnson in or a Johnson out?
I hate sitting on the fence, but I'm going to.
Well, Jacob, you move over and let Jack next to you. I mean,
fence friends.
Yeah, I mean, are you happy with the job he's doing?
At this moment in time, I don't think anyone is. Obviously not right now. And I think if he was to get sacked in the next few days or whenever, I think given the show in the last kind of month and a bit, and especially yesterday, I don't think he'll have any complaints, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. But in the same breath, if it was me to make a decision, would I sack him? I don't know, because I look back to how we were only a few weeks ago, and I think, well, what's changed that period of time? Could that come back all of a sudden? And as well, I think we don't want to be, in this situation in 12 months' time, discussing another manager saying, oh, we got rid of Lee Johnson a year ago, we then brought someone else in, and then we're having this conversation again and again and again. So, like I say, if he did get sacked, I probably wouldn't bat an eyelid. I wouldn't really be bothered. And I understand why everyone does want him sacked. Myself, I don't know. I actually don't even know what I think. In all honesty, if I would, I wouldn't do it. I think we've seen this too many times, and it almost just seems as if every manager comes into Sunderland's pretty much destined to fail in recent years.
But under the Stuart Donald regime in the past, we've had managers in where I think it's just brought managers in for the sake of saving cash. Now, this guy, Lee Johnson, was brought in while Stuart Donald was still at the helm. Is it Donald's man, or was it 50-50 between Donald and Dreyfus? Or do you think Dreyfus was in full control of decision who to bring in at that moment in time?
I think it had more to do with Donald than it did with Dreyfus.
Well, let's...
sorry. More to do with Dreyfus than it did with Donald.
Right, well, we'll touch on Stuart Donald in a sec, because you mentioned him before we came on air, Terry. But before I come to you, Jacob, Thane says, fence-sitting friends, apparently. Jacob, are you a Johnson in, Johnson out? And I know exactly what you're going to say.
I'm going to sit on the fence.
And Taffy Mackham in the chat says, Jacob, just give an opinion.
Jacob, here's another way. How long will you give him?
After the Ipswich game.
Right.
See how that performance, because we're going into a break.
So you're a Johnson in?
For now, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, that answers your question.
Right, okay then. Somebody asked me earlier, I think it was Taffy Mackham, how long would I give him? Right? You know, I'm not a fan of sacking managers. We do it all the time, right? Now, am I happy with the way he's performing? Of course I'm not happy. It's terrible. I don't want us to be losing, right? I just think it's not working for him at the moment. Like I said, yesterday he picked a team to try and build up confidence, thinking we was going to get a win. Go on then, Terry.
So how many more games of not working will you give him? Full season?
Right. Well, let me get on to that, because this is the next question I'm going to put here, right? Right. We've been told a long-term plan, right? KLD has come in. This is a long-term plan, right? Sacking the manager, right? How on earth are we ever going to make a long-term plan work if all we do is sack the manager? Now, that even to the point that if we don't go up this season, right, and heaven forbid we don't, because, you know, I'll be gutted. But if they have something in place, and part of this long-term plan is, it doesn't matter if we don't go up this season, because this is the plan.
That's bollocks. It's absolutely bollocks.
Why? But we have to have a long-term plan.
Remember last season, people were saying, oh, we get promoted. His long-term plan was to get promoted this season. But we're ahead of schedule last season if we got promoted. This is the season his long-term plan is to get promoted. Then a couple of seasons in the Championship or whatever it's going to take to get to the Premier League. But surely long-term plan means to get promoted this season out of League One. 5 seasons in League One. The guy's a billionaire. The guy's a billionaire, right?
Terry,
Have we got all the time in the world?
No, Terry, the secret is in the wording, right? Long-term plan. So that doesn't mean that...
To get to the Premier League.
That means...
Not out of fucking League One, out of the Premier League.
Listen, you can't have a long-term plan if your plan is, right, he's going to be the manager. But what we'll do in 12 months' time, we'll sack him, we'll get rid of him, we'll get somebody else in, and we'll start another long-term plan. It's a long-term plan for a reason.
Do you really think Lee Johnson is the person who was in charge? Do you think Speakman's more in charge than Lee Johnson? I think Speakman's pulling the strings. So regardless who this figure is here, this coach player, regardless who he is, Speakman's still in charge. You just bring somebody in with some better skill sets, somebody in with sort of better ideas and better plan Bs. And then
if that's the case, then that does work, because Speakman stays
exactly.
He's the common denominator.
We're not asking to sack Speakman. We're not asking to change the owner. We just want somebody who can actually make the team play. I have a plan B. Plan B.
What do you want? Karen says Johnson in, apparently. She won't come on because she hasn't got a bra on. So
they're out.
Jack, you was one in there. Go on.
I just think you don't really make a long-term plan to sack the manager. To sack the manager, like not even a year in. So, I regardless of what your opinion is, I can't see Lee Johnson being sacked for a very long time, because I don't think he would have been brought in without serious consideration as to what happens if things do start to go wrong. I'm not actually saying Johnson or Johnson out. I'm just saying.
Of course, nobody's plan is for the team to get beat. Nobody's plans to go on a long losing streak. His plan was to lead Johnson to succeed probably straight away and get us promoted in 1.5 seasons. That was the plan. Then spend a few seasons in the Championship building up a squad good enough to get the Premier League. The plan, long-term plan, is not to spend 3 seasons in League One. And then, like someone just says, they're going to be losing fans after all these young fans coming through. They're going to want to go and watch Sunderland in League One. Are they going to want the fans, not just Sunderland fans in Sunderland itself, but fans like from areas like Durham, from areas like Chester Street, from areas like Gateshead. They don't want to come and watch rubbish teams when they've got these other noisy neighbours who are going to have probably a fantastic squad years to come. We need this long-term plan to actually start working this season. We can still get promoted this season. And all we're saying is if Lee Johnson can't do anything about it in 2 or 3 games, we kind of keep on following this bloke off a cliff. Something's got to happen.
But equally, we can't let what's only going to be 4 or 5 games cloud our judgment of what was the start of the season up to this point. You know, this 4 or 5 games, you know, isn't in comparison to a long-term plan. This isn't really long enough.
Well, I'll bring you in next, Jacob. The thing is, I mean, people were screaming out just last week, Chris Wilder, let's get him in. You know, Sunderland, we're renowned for, if a year on, you get Chris Wilder and everybody's buzzing, all that, and then he loses 4 games in a row, then people are going to go, right, let's sack him again. It's exactly 4 games. We've got 4 games, one of which, is an FA Cup game. It's 4 games. It is absolutely ridiculous that people are reacting like this. It's
we're not going to get any of these managers that people are asking for. It's going to be some sort of head coach, and it's probably going to be somebody from abroad, a young head coach from abroad that's going to come over and take over and be paid by KLD. So it's not going to be any of these managers. There's no way Warnock's coming to Sunderland. Chris Wilder's going to go to Middlesbrough. There's no way all these big names are going to come to Sunderland. No chance. It's going to be a young up-and-coming head coach from abroad, I think, if anybody comes in. But I don't think, I agree with you, I can't see KLD getting rid of Lee Johnson at this moment in time.
We'll get a young foreign manager and then we'll sack him again in 12 months. Jacob, you was wondering.
Right, they all can't be rubbish. They can't be. They all can't be like
it doesn't
at
matter.
This moment in time.
The problem is
some of them must have a brain, has 2 plans, a plan B and a plan A.
Yeah, but the problem is, we are part of the problem. I mean, we're
not part of the problem at all, right? The manager's in his own destiny, right? We don't pick the teams. We don't get them up for the games. We have no say. Lee Johnson doesn't watch this. They don't watch this.
No, but it's gathering momentum, all this, Lee Johnson.
That's part and parcel of being a manager, part and parcel of being a footballer. You know what you're taking into when you go into the sport. It's every sport. People, if England cricket play badly, eventually they're going to change the coach. It happens. It happens. You get successful managers who come in.
That's fair enough, changing the coach. But, 4 games is just... Sorry, Jacob, I will bring you in. 4 games is just not long enough. If we've gone 3 months and it's looking ridiculous, then fair enough. But 4 games...
So that's what you give them 3 months? Is that your total of 3 months then? Do you give them 3 months?
I'll give them till the end of the season.
All right, there you go.
Now, Jacob, sorry.
Finally, you should just have you 2 on for an extra hour after this, to be honest. Going back to the long-term plan at the football club right now, I would say there's 2 main elements to that. One is obviously firstly getting out of this division for starters, because you're not going to financially progress as a club being stuck in League One and even attract the right sort of players to go to that next level in terms of how much quality you'll have in your side and getting those results. And another bit of an echo in. Just repeat it.
It's your head. It's inside your head, Jacob.
No, it's stopped now. The second part of the long-term plan, I would say, is improving the youth setup at the football club. How many youngsters are we going to embed into the first team within the next few years? And I think KLD wants more of that, more Elliot Embletons, more Dan Neils, getting them on long-term deals. But in terms of who actually the manager of the football club is, part of the long-term plan, I'm not sure whether that is relevant, to be honest. As long as the manager is doing a decent job, then and the players are, there's evidence that the players are playing for that manager, then yeah, it's irrelevant. But at the same time, yeah, questions do need to be asked right now.
Right, just very quickly. I mean, I know I chucked in there, given in the end of the season. It's not. I've got to clarify on that. If we went on a run where we had, if we went on a 10-game run where we lost them all, then it's at the end of the day. But I just don't think, we've seen how decent a team we actually have at the start of the season. We started great and was playing some great football. These are still the same players. I mean, why that can't be turned around is what I think is going to happen. One thing I do object to on the chat, by the way, Cole Pep. We Philly is a mag. You can call me anything you want. Fat, ugly, toothless, smelly, whatever you want. But don't call me a mag, right? I've followed Sunderland, all right, since probably well before you was born with Colonel Pep. So please don't insult me by saying things like that.
It's a bit rattled, that one, like.
Look, I've got a really bad memory, right? But have we been playing this kind of football all season, playing out from the back?
I would say so.
I think we have.
At the very least.
I think
it's just because we've been found out now, and other teams know what to do.
Yes.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So you'd all agree now there's time to change tactics against Ipswich.
Yes, I agree with you. But that's where Lee Johnson earns his money now, is that decision. It's the players as well, though. You know what I mean? They've got to take responsibility. Lee Burgess passed yesterday. Lee Johnson can't really do anything about Lee Burgess now. If he wanted to, he could have hoofed out the pitch, realistically.
Right, Hoffman does the same thing. He passes to the fullback back to Hoffman. But if those keepers have never played that way, those keepers have played other ways, then it's new to them. They're asking someone to change what they do, to fit into a team. And if they can't do it, then surely they shouldn't be playing these players, But I think if an Ipswich match comes along and he continues to play, he's had 2 weeks, he continues to play the same system as before, and Ipswich do exactly the same as Mansfield. They come up, nick the ball, score goals. Surely that's insane from a coach. Surely that's stubbornness setting in.
I agree, but I also think there's been a lot of individual errors, like Lee Burge yesterday passing the ball out to their striker, Hoffman, like whatever he was trying to do at Rotherham for the last goal. All of these, McGeady lashing out at the player at Rotherham, which essentially put the final nail in the coffin for that game and meant we couldn't really get back. A lot of these things haven't actually got much to do with Johnson. Let's be fair. A lot of them are the players. And I think a lot of the time you can be putting all the blame on the manager or the coach and actually forgetting that there's 11 players out there who maybe aren't doing all they can.
Well, like I was saying yesterday, it is the players' faults as well because they are making the mistakes. Because for me, I don't think the players are good enough. I don't think the majority of our players are good enough to win this league. I think we're being put in a false sense of it's the false sense of reality for the beginning of the season, playing 6 home games straight away. And now because the players cannot, you're trying to ask players to play the system that some of them can't do.
Right, just very quickly, on the chat, David Walker says, so Philly happy in League One? No, of course I'm not happy in League One. I'm a Sunderland supporter like everybody else. Am I happy to be in League One? No, I'm not happy to be in League One. What I'm not happy about is the fact that people want Lee Johnson sacked after losing 4 games. That's the thing, right? I am got a problem with Lee Johnson being sacked if it's a longer run and it's not working, but people are saying, well, it won't work. Terry, before we came on, you said, well, you look back at his previous record and he's never, ever managed to turn it around. You can't sack him by saying you've lost 4 and because of your previous record, you're going to lose another 6. So
how many games did he lose last season? The back end of last season, how many games did we go on unbeaten? I sort of thought we didn't win any matches, did we? Didn't win any matches.
That wasn't his team, though, was it? That wasn't his team, though, was it?
Well, it's still sort of some of his team. He had Winchester in
as well. We had like Luke O'Nien playing centre back with Dion Sanderson, Max Pout right back, Callum McFadzean a lot of the time at left back as well. Like last season, I know we went on a terrible run and it was inexcusable, but we had a far from complete squad.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what then. This is the situation we're in. It's it's not good at the moment, right? Should KLD become more vocal, or should he come out and support Lee Johnson, or should he be stepping in now? I mean, he's the man in charge. Terry?
Personally, no. I think it's up to him. Either keep him or sack him. But what he needs to do is spend some of that money in January. We need to strengthen the squad. We need a proper right back in the team. We need another striker to help Stewart. Lee Johnson was saying Stewart's got a shoulder problem. What happens if that worsens? What happens? There's no guarantee Broadhead is going to be the player. We should sometimes play a little big man up top, Stewart and probably Broadhead together. Do something different. What KLD needs to do is spend some money in January. If he's serious about getting promoted, he needs to spend some kind of money and try to get some decent players in.
Man of the World, I'll come to you, so I'll pass it around here. Man of the World on the chat says, we feel we could be bottom half of the division by the end of the season. We could be, right? But then again, we may not be. This is the thing. It's all, nobody knows. And would I be happy with that? No, of course I wouldn't be happy with that. Jacob, we'll bring you in first because Jack will hog your limelight.
No, I couldn't agree with Terry more. It's obviously understandable. You see it happen at a lot of clubs, people from behind the scenes coming out, being vocal about if the club's going through a rough patch, but actions speak louder than words. If KLD goes out and uses a lot of his money to improve our squad, and then we see results from that, we have to judge him purely for that, not by the things that he can come out and say just to give maybe more motivation to the team right now. It's just about the job he's brought in to do. You judge by that, saying, was it coming out and explaining bad results? It's irrelevant, to be honest. You've got to just do the job that you're meant to do.
We're not asking him to be stupid like Stuart Donald to go spend bloody 6 million or whatever it was on Will Grigg. We're not asking him to be stupid. No. He can still be shrewd, but just try and bring one or two more, strengthen the squad.
6 million? I thought it was 3.
4, 5.
It would have been
4, 5, 6. Whatever it was, it was.
We're still paying them off now.
If he'd have scored some goals, it would have gone up to 4, but 3 million. But just double it because it makes it sound more sensational.
So you defending Stuart Donald now, fella, yeah?
Oh, away.
Going back to this, are we?
Well, I will not get onto that, but Jack, go on.
Something like Lee Johnson said in his interview yesterday. He said that Ross Stewart picked up a game and picked up an injury, a shoulder injury in a certain game. Which one was it? Does anyone remember which game he said?
It's
shoulder injury for what, Stewart?
Yeah, he said it in his post-match interview.
Yeah, he said about a shoulder injury for Stewart, which he wanted to rest because he's had it for a few weeks, apparently.
Yeah,
I remember him going down in one of the games late on. I forget which game it was, but if that was the case,
I mean, I remember when he first said it, to my knowledge. So it might have been Sheffield Wednesday, it might not have been. But to my knowledge, he said either QPR or Rotherham. Now, I cannot for the life of me understand why. Yes, that was it, because it must have been one of them, because he said in his interview that Stewart was running around holding his shoulder almost like it was in a sling in a game. Why on earth did you decide to play him then? Now, I've sat here and said maybe we would unsack Johnson and et cetera, but that is one thing that you've got to point out and say, well, if you've got a player who's quite clearly got an injury at the point where he's having to hold his arm instead of being able to concentrate on the game, why on earth play him? It just popped up there.
It's our main source of goals right now.
I know, but you can't be playing injured players, especially when you've got like Will Harris, right? Fair enough. He might not have much first-time experience, but he's banging them in for the 23s. I'd rather have him than an injured Stewart. You might put him out for the rest of the season.
I think I'm 100% positive now. He got injured at the QPR match because I was very doubtful whether he would take a penalty, and he went to take a penalty.
People are saying that on the chat. They're saying it was the QPR game. Just very quickly, because I did say about should KLD come out and be more vocal. And good point here made by Chris Hutchie, says Donald was vocal and he got crucified off the fans, which is a fair comment. I mean, we're just about out of time, to be honest, lads. I was going to go on about Bradford City. Just very quickly, have you got your whiteboard there, Terry?
I do.
Right, all right. Terry's team against Bradford, and why are you doing that as well? I mean, we're already a bit of info on this Papa John's Trophy, how it works. We're already qualified because the top 2 from each league go through into the final 32. If we finish top, so if we beat Bradford or even I think. Get a point. I'm not sure what we're on. I think we're on level. Draw should do it. If it puts us top, then in the draw, we are drawn at home against a northern team, a second-place northern team finisher. So that's how that works in the final 32. But Terry's team, and do we really want to go to Wembley twice? Terry?
Why not? Why not play the kids? Why not play the kids and go all the way to Wembley if they keep on winning?
I'll put you on the big, and then we can see your. Whoops, where are we at? Oh, here he goes.
No, not that one.
No, definitely not that one.
Maybe set the Sunderland thing out the middle of it.
Basically, sort of, with this way, that's it.
There we go.
Do we want to go to Wembley? Yes, I want to go to Wembley, but with these players. I want to go to Wembley with these players. I want Dan Neil, if he's okay to play a game, and he's got 1.5 weeks rest after this, be captain of the team. You know, Burge or Carney, whoever comes in, Dyche, Richardson, Alves, Younger for me, it should be knocking at the door now as a centre-back for Sunderland all day long in the first team. So owner, Wern should be knocking at the door as well, because his performances, if he plays on Tuesday the way he's been playing the last twice, you know, have us up front. Diaco needs some confidence. He needs a game against like some Bradford in League Two. He needs to start performing. So, I mean, I wouldn't even have this formation for me. I'd be happy to go some other kind of formation. And Taylor, again, young lad, experience, and there's plenty of other ones. You got Armand, you've got a load of other youngsters that come into the squad, come into the team, loads of bench players easily. So, you know, leave it all of the first teamers out apart from Dan Neil.
Fair enough. Look, I'll just
like someone just said, sorry, Dan Neil's away with England, so Dan Neil won't be in that. That's correct. He's away with England.
Right, okay then. Right, well, I'll get a prediction off you. Predictions are stupid, but I predicted 5-0, and I'm embarrassed to say I did that against Mansfield. But when I saw that team, because I thought he'd play a strong team, and I thought we'll batter these, and we didn't. Quick prediction then for Bradford City, Terry.
Like someone said there, where's Armand? Armand could easily start for Alves, to be honest, if Alves was too tired of yesterday. So that's about probably right. But prediction, I'm going to go the young lads are going to win 2-0.
2-0, Terry. Jack?
2-1.
2-1. Jacob?
2-1 as well.
3-0 for myself, I think. Nice, comfortable win. Terry, are you doing a live stream on Tuesday?
I definitely will be, like usual, doing a live stream, enjoying the football.
Nice one. We will be doing a live stream also on SAFC Fan TV if you want to tune in for that. It looks like it's going to be me and my lovely wife. So even though my commentary's crap, my lovely wife's gorgeous. If you want to come and just ogle while the match is on. Lads, it's been lively. It's all about opinions. We respect everyone's opinions. Final poll at the end of the day. It says 89 people for Lee Johnson and 65 against it. It's fairly close, but I think people are like you, Terry. I think they're going to give him till Ipswich. And I think if we do lose against Ipswich, will be a tricky game. I think that balance will definitely.
Look, at the end of the day, Ipswich have really started to put up performances now, and they're not a bad side. So if we get in there and we put a hardly performance in and play really well, but we lose by 1 goal and we see a big difference altogether, then fair enough. But if we get there, we play absolutely shocking again, we get hammered, then that's a different story.
I don't agree. I think if we play our skins and lose 1-0, I think that'll be enough for people. They'll have. They're going mad at 4 defeats, so 5 defeats is going to be, it's going to be not good. Lads, thanks for coming on board. It's been pleasurable. Thanks to everybody who watched. Loads of people on there. Apologies if I didn't get to you on the live chat, but trying to keep up with all the comments. Was difficult when we had so many in there. Jacob, way down south, would you like to say bye to everybody?
See you later, guys. Have a great week.
Keep the faith.
Keep the faith also.
Jack just said bye to everybody.
Bye to everybody.
Bye to everybody. And Terry, sing us out.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Who did that?
Jack's just left
himself. Right then, listen, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, please, to like and subscribe to the video if you would, please. It's free to subscribe, and we will see you back on this channel on Tuesday. See you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.